This is the FEMA Substantial Damage Estimator Training Series. Welcome to Module 6, Field Preparation. The topics covered in Module 6 are pre-disaster planning and field preparation. Before there is an event, it is a good idea to assemble data about the structures in the Special Flood Hazard Area, or SFHA. This can include things like photos, tax data such as addresses, square footage, number of stories, and location of structures or tax parcels on a flood insurance rate map. It is also good to have an action plan with a list of data sources, staffing, and responsibilities. Along with structured data, maps can also be assembled before an event. This can include FEMA maps, such as FIRMS, DFIRMS, flood recovery maps, or FEMA-approved best data maps. Tax maps that have addresses and structure information, such as square footage, address maps, and GPS waypoint files. It is helpful to have street maps for field and office staff so that inspectors and supervisors can mark off which structures have been inspected. Only structures in the SFHA are required to have substantial damage determinations under the NFIP. Communities must do substantial damage determinations in the regulated flood hazard areas, and some communities adopt maps that show areas larger than the SFHA. The inspectors need to begin fieldwork as soon as possible after the damage event. In most cases, fieldwork should begin within 2 weeks of the event. This will allow local officials to begin making determinations and issuing building permits. When determinations are conducted quickly, officials will prevent owners from initiating repairs without a permit or without waiting for the data to be collected. Additionally, officials will avoid having to determine whether new construction they observe is due to repairs or improvements. If available, tax data should be collected for use in fieldwork. The data that will be helpful are address, owner name, the structure footprint, dimensions, the foundation type, and the number of stories. The structure footprint can assist in verifying the correct location when addresses are missing. This data can be pre-entered into the SDE software. The source of unit cost data should be determined before fieldwork begins. Quality levels can also be determined before the start of fieldwork. Depending on the area, there may only be 1 or 2 quality levels. Equipment also needs to be assembled before fieldwork begins. Some things you should have are a digital camera with an extra memory card, photo logs, a GPS device, notepads, clipboards, pens, copies of the SDE manual damage inspection worksheets, tape measure, and safety equipment such as a safety vest, hard hat, safety glasses, gloves, steel-toed work shoes, and a flashlight. Before fieldwork begins, a plan for assigning work should be created. Responsibilities for the areas of streets to be inspected should be assigned. This ensures that all necessary areas are inspected once, with no overlap. An approach to access private property should be created as well. Advance notice of inspections should be given to police and news outlets. The advance notice to the police will reduce the number of calls regarding the presence of inspectors in unoccupied structures and can facilitate access to private property when owners understand that this effort is required by the community. All inspectors should carry a letter of introduction and an ID badge. The letter of introduction should be on community letterhead and contain the community point of contact for concerned owners to call. A procedure for dealing with reluctant structure owners should be created. The inspector should be advised that they cannot force their way onto private property if the owner is present and refuses access, or if the structure is locked and the owner does not appear to be present. In these cases, the inspector should record the address and, if available, owner name and contact number, and turn this in to the lead at the end of the day. The lead can determine the options for obtaining access to the properties that are locked or where access has been denied. It is a good idea to do some group inspections before starting fieldwork. This will ensure that the inspectors look at damages in the same manner. A mix of residential and non-residential should be chosen. The group inspection helps inspectors understand the process and how to assess damages. It should be emphasized that all required SDE data should be obtained on the first visit. A few final things to think about before starting fieldwork. Procedures for inspecting structural and non-structural damages should be reviewed. There should be an anticipated inspection time per structure. This will help ensure that inspections are completed in a timely manner. A minimum number of exterior and interior photographs should be set. The inspector should get at least one curbside view of the structure for the inspection file to verify the structure inspected in case a posted address is missing or incorrect. Inspectors should also get at least one interior picture if possible. While the inspectors are in the field, they should first verify the address of the structure. Then, they should mark the structure location on a map. This will help assess the progress of the inspections, as well as verify that all structures requested for the inventory have been inspected. If inspecting structures for flood damage, inspectors should then look for high water marks. This will be used to estimate the flood depth above the first floor. If possible, photographs of the high water mark should be taken. Next, an overall description of the exterior and interior damages should be noted. When performing exterior inspections, here are a few things to look for. Look to see if there is any structural damage to the superstructure and foundation. Assess damages to the exterior finishes and underlying sheathing. Step back and look at the roof and upper stories to see if there's any damage. If applicable, take pictures of significant damage, debris, or high water marks. When performing interior inspections, here are a few things to look for. Note structural damage to walls, ceiling, and floor. Inspections should be done room by room. Inspectors should try to set a routine for interior inspections, such as starting in the kitchen, followed by other first-floor rooms, and inspecting the bedrooms last to avoid missing rooms or data. Damage percentages should be identified for all appropriate elements. Pictures should be taken of significant damage. This can be helpful later if the owner tries to claim that there was little to no damage. It is possible that manufactured housing will be encountered during inspections. If an older manufactured home is damaged, it will usually be considered a total loss. For example, a few inches of water can provide the same amount of damage as several feet of water in a site-built home, because of the impact on the overall structural integrity when the floor and subfloor are damaged. Also, all of the utilities are attached to the underside of the floor. Newer manufactured homes can be constructed to more disaster-resistant criteria with a stronger superstructure and more resistant utilities. Thanks for watching! This training is one of a 10-part series. Please continue to Module 7.